All right, gang, this is going to be a love story about this girl named Fatima Ramirez. Now, in this point of the story where we're at, I'm going to spoil it. I feel very bitter. And why? Well, let's start from the beginning. Record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got here. No, but yeah, this girl Fatima Ramirez, I met her in high school, and one time she asked me, she was like, "Do you remember your first impression of me?" And I like immediately lied because I knew what it was and I didn't want her to know. I was like, no, I usually don't remember people's first impressions. And to be honest, that's kind of true. But I have a good memory. Now, my first impression of her was, dang, I just fell in love with this girl. Like, love at first sight, really. And I remember, I think it was junior year of high school. I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was walking in the computer lab, and then she goes, Kevin, how are you and your girlfriend doing? And I was like, immediately, like, kind of in shock. And was I looked at her because I didn't really know this girl. But when I saw her, she had like this green shirt on, showing her cleavage. Her little boobies were out, and I was like, in my head, I was like, this girl likes me. And then I felt even like more weird because I was like, dang, I like her back, but I have a girlfriend. So I was like, so she knew. She knew I had a girlfriend. She was like on her Ariana Grande break up with your girlfriend on board type beat. And later on, we get closer in my junior year. We had calculus together, and our teacher's name was John Spino. He's probably top. He's top three favorite teachers of all time. And I was I've always been really good at math since I was a kid, and I wanted to help people out because that's the type of person I am. Like I love to help. One day I had this idea of doing after school tutoring for my classmates, and I told them I went up into the front of class. I think I made little flyers and stuff. Like I really went the extra mile, and like I'm extra like that because I care and it's fun. I love to help people. It really is. It really makes me happy. And I would even teach the class. I would teach the class. Like my teacher would be like, "Well, Kevin, what lesson do you have for the students today?" And I'd be like, "I got it, sir." I'd like pull out like my papers, like my lesson plan. I'd be like, "Oh, today we're gonna go over continuity, limits, derivatives." I was like, my nerd type beat. Ah, oh, it hurts. It doesn't matter. But I, yeah, and she was one of my little students that would come to tutoring, like her and her little friend group. Or I don't know if they were friends, but they would always come. It was like the same, like five or six people. And we would go to the library or we would use the classroom. And I was like so consistent on this. And I really like tried my best to get them to understand calculus and to pass the AP exam. Flex time. I was the only student in 3 years at my high school, Eastside High School, Lancaster, California, to pass the AP Calc exam in 3 years. 3 years. Isn't that super cool? Right, I know. But in this time, I didn't really have feelings like that for Fatima during that time. Like feelings like that. I saw her more as like a professional relationship. Like she's my little student. And now I'm trying to think, where did things change? This memory just popped into my head. It's so romantic. I have so many like romantic and memories full of happiness and joy and things that I've never experienced before with another girl. And it's just like everything would happen so perfectly. Everything would happen so perfectly except for one thing, the timing. Either she had a boyfriend, I had a girlfriend, but it was like we were married the whole time. For example, there was one memory where I had this girlfriend. Her name was Paulina. But I used to practice Islam, and a big thing in any religion is fasting. And I would fast a lot. And one time I was fasting. It might have been Ramadan. For those of you that don't know, Ramadan is a month, 1 month full of fasting. So you can break your fast anytime after sunset or before sunrise. But for that whole month, you can't be eating during the day. And I think it might have been during Ramadan. I remember we went to In and Out and I ordered a burger and I had that burger and I was saving it. I was telling like Fatima and her friends or our friend, our little friend group. Oh, by the way, I know how it changed now. So let's backtrack. Oh, 11:11 on my clock. Make a wish. Okay. And I I was going to the ends of tutoring. Like after it was nearing the AP exam, the little students I would tutor, like my classmates, we were the same age. We were all juniors. They made me a thank you letter, and in it had a picture of the teacher and just really nice things that they were complimenting me about tutoring them. And then one time, they invited me to hang out with them at the pep rally, and that's when I was like, wow, these are friends. So it just became our little friend group. I'll name them out by name. So it was me, Fatima, Alexandra, Ashley, Oscar, Leslie, Marlon. That's all I can think of right now. If I missed you, sorry. And I know there's a girl missing, but she wouldn't hang out with us that much anymore. And yeah, that was like our little friend group. So let's go back to where I was when I had the girlfriend Paulina. Paulina, she's a tall girl. She was taller than me. I'm a short guy. I'm only 5'6" on a good day. But face card never declined. Had a pose. All right. I had that burger at In and Out, and I was fasting, and I was telling Alexandria and Fatima, it was us three. I was like, no, I can't eat it right now because I'm gonna I'm gonna wait till sunset. And Alexandra was like pressuring me to like break the rule. She was like, "It's okay, Kevin. We all sin." And I'm like, "No, girl. Like, I'm not trying to." And then Fatima like defended me. She was like, "That's what I love about Fatima's. She defends me. Like, she's very like brave, like to stand up for me. Like, she does not care if someone like wrongs me. She'll be the first to be like, "Shut your fucking mouth," like type energy. I'll be like, "Damn, babe, thanks." And so then Fatima was like, "No, Alexandra, like let him do his fast." Like she's so understanding. She's a Catholic. Pretty sure she still believes in Catholicism. believe everything, honestly, at this point. But let's go back to where we were. So yes, we're I still have that in and out. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting till sunset, and then eventually Alexandra has to go home. So then it's just me and Fatima, just me and her. Yep. And then she's like, you know what we should do? We should go to that one view spot. Now, those of you who are from Lancaster, Palmdale, from the AV, you know the spot I'm talking about. You know, where you can viewpoint or whatever it's called, make out point, something like that. Seriously. And we ended up. I remember I was like so down bad for her. And remember, guys, I have a girlfriend at this time, so yikes! Like this girl makes me. I just tunnel vision with this girl. Seriously. But it's like I'm not crazy for being crazy in love with her. Because as I'm telling you this story, you're gonna see like, damn, I don't blame you, Kevin. Because I'm like, yeah, if you were in my position, you would think so too. You would think that she's the one based on everything that life has thrown at me about her. So we ended up, I ended up like figuring out how to go to Viewpoint. I, I like contacted my ex best friend. And I was like, yo, man, do you know how to get there? I was so down bad. And eventually I find it and I get us there. And then you see the view, sunset. I'm looking at her, so romantic. And I ended up telling my girlfriend about this later, and she started crying. So I'm sorry, you know. At least I was honest. And I was looking at her, and I was like, Fatima, please, please make a move on me. I, I myself, I wouldn't bring myself to cheat, but if she like kissed me, I would not. I would not stop it, even if I had a girlfriend. I was like, seriously, men ain't shit. But I, that just plays in the house of my memories. That let me tell you about the significance of her name and like her family too. Like her family loves me. They adore me because I would tutor her siblings. Like I would go to her house and help her little brother and little sister to get good at or to just like advance and to tutor them because I'm a tutor. That's what I am. I've tutored, had a lot of jobs tutoring. That was my first ever job. At 17 years old, I was tutoring college students. I know, Mr. Genius, Albert Einstein in the room. I'm gonna stop this video around 30 minutes. This definitely is gonna be like a saga, the saga of Fatima Ramirez. We're at 13 minutes right now. Keep going. And I would go over to her house. Like her mother would cook for me, and her her cooking is so bomb, 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 bomb. And it like I'm telling you, like it felt like we were a married couple. Seriously, and I'm not the only one that thought that. One time, her and we volunteered to make beds for a homeless shelter that was being built. It's called Hope of the Valley, I think. The one that we specifically worked on was on Sierra Highway in Lancaster, a little past the bowling alley, if you know where that is. Which most of you, I don't know, whoever's watching, well, if you know, you know. And like we were working together, we were having fun. And this time I was fasting again. And later on, you'll see how it plays out, how everything ties together. My life is such a big story. I'm just gonna talk about it in these videos, and you'll learn more and more. Point, like we were like singing to each other. Like she has a, she's, she does like this. I don't want to do it. She does that like Santa Maria. Like I'm so bad at it. Like her voice goes like so high pitched, and it sounds like angelic, and it's funny. But like she would tell me to do it, and I'd be like, no, no, no. Like we would laugh. And then we were having conversations like, do you think you need a partner? Do you see yourself dying alone? And we both answered like, oh, like I could see my life. I could see me like working on like helping people in need across the nation or in like third world countries. And she's like, yeah, me too. It's like she's my she's my true counterpart. I am the divine masculine. She's the divine feminine. There's no doubt about that. No doubt. But again, big buts, and I cannot lie. You have to keep listening to the story. Us. It's hard. It's hard to talk about. I feel so hurt. I really do. Like I'm at a loss for words. I'll just tell you that I this is somewhat towards the present. I'm gonna just go with the flow. So one time I decided to confess my love to like her or to her family. That's how it ended up playing out. On January 21st, 2024, I couldn't sleep that night. I was just watching La La Land, like one of my favorite movies. And I just kept thinking about her when I was watching it. Then I started watching this one scene from a different movie. And I just kept thinking about like I have to let her know how I feel. The reason I felt so pressured to tell her is because she had a boyfriend. I don't know if they're still together. I honestly don't know. And I don't care. At this point I don't care to be with Fatima. But it seems like no matter what I do, she finds a way to stay in my life somehow. Like it's so strange. Like I just keep telling you like about things that happen. Understand more and more. And anything you thought of, trust me, I've already thought of like, oh, why didn't you do this or why did you do that or maybe you should try this or maybe you should try. I've tried it all. That's why I'm so upset. I've tried it all. So I remember I was replaying this scene over and over again. It's from that Jennifer Lawrence movie where she's like something with this kid that goes to Yale and then it's like a fake relationship. And in it, there's like a piano scene where the guy sings like Man Eater. She'll only come out at night, the lean and hungry type, something, something. I just kept watching that over and over again. I have it on one of my stories on Instagram. You can find it if you dig deep. Like I think the Instagram is like, oh, share a song that you have on repeat. You could find it. And so I was thinking about every possible scenario that could happen that would prevent me from confessing my love to her. And well, I was prepared for anything. I was prepared to go to her house and her boyfriend come out with a shotgun and be like, "Yo, if you don't leave right now, I'll blow your brains out." And I'd be like, "Do it, do it," because that's how like committed I was. Seriously. But in reality, once the morning came, I went off. And I remember I ran into my ex best friend's brother-in-law. I had told him about her, and I was like, "I'm gonna go do it." He's like, "Yeah, man, go for it." And I went for it, and I pull up to her house. I see her dad. I'm like, oh, I imagined this scenario. Like I thought of everything. So I was like, okay, this one is not as bad. Could it be worse? Like I said. And I go up to him, and I'm so shy. I'm like, I'm gonna like be like, I think your daughter is the love of my life. And I remember I was like looking down, and I was like, come on, so embarrassed, I was so shy. I was like kind of crying a little bit. Seriously. I was like, I think like it was hard to say like imagine that confessing to you you think is your love of your life, telling her father like, I want your daughter's hand in marriage. Like I want your blessing. And he was like, "Oh, Kevin, I hate to break it to you, but she already has someone." And I told him, I know, but this is something that I have to do. It's something I feel like I have to do. And then he's like, well, let me go get my wife. So he comes and brings his wife, the Fatima's mom, and she comes out and we're talking. She's sharing intimate things about her, and I'm crying even more because I'm learning more about her situation. And it's like, you know, she was going through a rough time, and that made me like really sad. I wish that I could do something to help her out because I cared so much about this girl. I still do. It's like right now, like I still care about her. I wish her the best. But it's like she wants me so bad, yet she doesn't want to be with me. It's like she's done everything in her power to get me to be in love with her, but she doesn't want to be with me. We were never boyfriend and girlfriend. We never even so much as kissed or really hold hands. Like seriously, it's just pure connection, pure vibe, pure relationship. Like it was deeper than the physical. It was like spiritual. It just felt like this is a girl that I've was like my past life lover or something. Then I'm talking to her mom, and what gives me hope at the end of it is she says, "You know what, Kevin? This is exactly how my husband and I got together. He confessed his love, and 6 months later, we ended up being together." And that gave me enough hope. I was like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait for her 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. I said that. That's the state of mind I was in. And you know what? It's been a little over a year. No contact. Eventually, I told her mother told me I'll let her know and I'll talk to her, and then you guys can see how it plays out. And she'll text you. So my there I am waiting at my house, just pacing back and forth. And I'm just waiting for her text. I'm like, what is she gonna say? What is she gonna say? What is she gonna say? I get the text. My heart skips a beat. I look at it and it says this. It says, Kevin, you need to understand that I only see you as a close friend. And if you want any chance of continuing this friendship, you need to respect that I have a boyfriend that I love very much. And you can't just show up at my house whenever you want. I could have been busy, and plus I'm going through a lot right now. You know what I told her? I told her, you know what? I understand. I'm sorry for putting you in a position like this, and I wish you the best. I think I need some time to get my mind right. And it hurts because I just don't know. I don't know anymore, I don't know what to believe because I could be shown all the signs in the world that she's the one, but we together. Why? Because let me tell you about like the significance of her name. Her name is Fatima Ramirez. Her first name, Fatima or Fatima. It's an Arabic name. There are hardly any more men that I love more than Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam. And guess what his daughter's name was? That's right, Fatima. Her last name, Ramirez. Guess what's the last name of my mother? Yep, Ramirez. I claim to be Jesus' second coming. Guess what's Fatima's mom's name? What was Jesus' mom's name? Mm-hmm. Mary, but her name is Maria, the Spanish version. I even read this book. It's my favorite book. It's called The Alchemist. And in it, this boy, he lives in Spain. He's a Christian. And he travels through the lands of Andalus, Muslim controlled Spanish Empire. And in the end of the book, the very last lines are, I'm coming home, Fatima. I'm coming for you. And I read that as a project reading from my junior into my senior year. So it's like, I could tell you more. I could tell you so much that's like, isn't she the one, God? Isn't she? Only time will tell. One time, forgot where we were driving from, but her car was like kind of on its last legs. It was breaking down. And like we pulled off to the side of the road because I forgot something was going on with the car. And I remember telling her, don't turn it off. And she turned it off. And then we couldn't turn it back on because I knew it was having problems. I was like, no, we have to get home. And so her mom ended up calling AAA. And like we got home after that. I had this other memory that one time she invited me to her dorm in Cal State Fullerton with like a friend group trip. But again, it was the only people that went were me, Alexandra, and her boyfriend at the time. I don't know if they're still together. Honestly, I don't know. His name is Sky. He's also, I guess, part of the friend group by extension of his Alexandria. And this was the timeline of this was sometime in the fall of 2023, and she was still with her boyfriend Cameron. So, but I ended up staying the night in her dorm. Nothing happened, but it still felt special. We went to the club together. We went to the mall together. We were sitting next to each other eating at Cheesecake Factory. And again, it's like we're just that married couple that's been together for so long, but no label, no status, no physical. Or one time too, like we were chilling on the couch together. I was laying down with my feet extended. She was at the end of my feet. We were watching this movie, like this. I forgot what it's called. Step Up, maybe, where like they like dance battle and stuff. And Fatima is. There's another. Fatima's shy. She doesn't like to dance. But one time we did karaoke together, and I'll never forget this memory. I remember we were singing a Shakira song. And I remember when there was this one part where we're dancing, we were singing, and we both looked at each other and said, "Baby, this is perfection." And our eyes, just locked, and I'll never forget that. Alrighty, I'm gonna end it here. See you in part two.